Let's talk now, though, to LaDonna Harvey. A couple of stories have crossed the desk this morning. Apparently there was a late-night phone call between Keir Starmer and Donald Trump. This despite the fact that in a leaked WhatsApp message or a Signal message, it turns out that Europe were described as pathetic freeloaders by several people, including Mr. Hegseth, who is, of course, the United States Secretary of State for Defence. He was in a group, Pete Hegseth, with J.D. Vance and Mike Waltz, the National Security Advisor, and Susie Wiles, Donald Trump's Chief of Staff. But they somehow managed to involve a reporter from The Atlantic magazine, the editor-in-chief, actually, of The Atlantic magazine, and they shared some rather top-secret information about what they were going to bomb in Yemen. LaDonna, very good morning to you.
Good morning. Yeah, I alas do not work for The Atlantic and was not privy to that information, but man, what a great day that would be for a reporter. Just, oops, into your email, you're looking at top secret stuff. Fabulous.
Well, I mean, the headline alone is enough to make you smile, because it turns out that the Atlantic editor-in-chief was actually invited into the group by the people who are sitting mainly in the way. And he couldn't quite believe it, because it's a piece here which is headline. The headline on this story is so good. The Trump administration accidentally texted me its war plans. I mean, what a story. You know, you basically couldn't make it up, could you?
No, you sure couldn't. And what a great coup for a reporter. I mean, just to sit there and go, ooh, yeah, well, they goofed, but here I am.
I mean, and Jeffrey Goldberg, who is the guy concerned, apparently when he first got the invitation to join the group, he just assumed it was a spoof. He assumed that basically it was somebody trying to kind of interpret what he knew or try and get out of him some information which might be damaging to him. So he joined it out of curiosity and was rather surprised to find out that all of the people who said they were in it were the real people.
Oh my, it would just be a great day as a reporter, as somebody who does news for a living. That would be like the best day of my life. And I'd be like, you know what? I think I'm retiring now.
Yes. Oh, I know. But can you imagine also as a reporter, you'd be thinking, surely this can't be real. Somebody must be this must be some kind of trap.
Right. Well, and we're trained so hard against, IT incursions that the first thing you would think was, oh, do I just need to get rid of this email? But, once it comes from whitehouse.gov. Yes.
But I suppose more worrying for the people on this side of the Atlantic is the way that it would seem that the Trump administration describes Europe and certainly European governments. Because, of course, Keir Starmer makes out that he's, Donald Trump's best friend. He's very wary of any member of his cabinet saying anything negative about Donald Trump. It's quite funny watching them whenever any cabinet minister goes on TV here, all of whom are on record hating Donald Trump, right, and making anti-Trump statements and saying, and even Starmer himself said that he wouldn't want him around for dinner. They're all briefed to such an extent. Every time they're asked about Donald Trump, they're very polite.
Yes, he's a fine man. Fine man. Any other questions?
I know. Yeah. Obviously, we're working well together and all of this. And, it does seem as though the Trump view of Keir Starmer is, just keep him sweet until I can get the second state visit and meet up with the king again.
Possibly. The great thing about Donald Trump, and also the not so great thing about Donald Trump, is you really don't ever know what he's actually doing. You just don't. While he's yammering over here about this, he's working over here on this. Right. And so, you hear words coming out of his mouth like, our relationship has not been good. It's not been good. And it feels like it's a boyfriend negotiating for a better deal from the girlfriend. Right. But I'm not sure what the deal is. And I've never been sure what the deal is. Right.
And that's the other thing he'll do sometimes. He'll say, yeah, he's a great guy. And that's exactly not what he means, but he says it so the guy thinks that he thinks he's a great guy.
The only person that we're not, and again, this is the typical Donald Trump MO. We don't know how he feels about Putin. We don't know how he feels about anybody. Right. Because one minute he says one thing, and then the next minute, oh, I don't know. It's a bad relationship. Right. It's a bad relationship. And then he goes off and makes a deal. Yeah. And so you think, well, was it a bad relationship, or was that a negotiating tactic? Is there something I don't know here?
Exactly. Well, there's people here sort of writing him off already. The usual suspects, I would call them, the kind of the Trump haters who didn't like him first time around, didn't like him in between, and now hate him even more. And they're so convinced that he's kind of a pawn for Russia, I wouldn't be at all surprised if we end up doing a deal in Ukraine which is somehow great for everybody. But we haven't got to the end. I keep saying to people, just wait and see, because at every stage they're critical of Trump, saying he's doing this, he's not talking to Zelensky, he didn't invite him to Saudi Arabia for the round of talks that he had with the Russians, and then suddenly he gets invited to the White House, and then they're going, oh yeah, but then he was horrible to him in the White House. It's just kind of, they move the goalposts all the time, and yet there's a lot more going on now than ever went on with the Biden administration.
Yeah, and I'm not, and again, I'm not sure what it is, and I'm not sure I
don't think anyone is
until the news breaks and they say, oh well, here's what we've worked out in Ukraine, or here's what we've worked out with Russia.
Yeah.
The thing that I do is I always live in hope. I'm an optimist, despite all evidence to the contrary. I really am an optimist, and ultimately I think things have a tendency to work out.
Yeah.
Maybe not for the best in the moment, but perhaps there's a future game, and that's what I'm hoping for. That there is something that will stop Putin from a European expansion without actually triggering World War III.
Yes,
I would like to see that happen.
Well, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Speaking of World War III, I presume there's going to be guns at dawn and dueling and all sorts of things going on in Montecito. Gwyneth Paltrow seems to have decided to take on Meghan Markle in the cooking in your own kitchen stakes.
Oh my God! I can't think of two more self-absorbed and uninteresting people to teach me how to eat.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Have you seen me? I understand food a lot.
Right. Yeah. And you can also.
I don't need you to teach me how to cook and put flowers on stuff.
Right. And this is how to present it.
I want to eat it.
I know. It's pathetic, isn't it? It's really pathetic. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Donna, good to see you. Thank you very much indeed. Donna Harvey, the Arizona Morning News star of KTAR in Phoenix there.